Hello everyone. This video I'll be talking about abnormal uterine bleeding, and this scene right here will be taking place in Jumeirah Beach in United Arab Emirates in Dubai. So let's start with characterizing and defining what is abnormal uterine bleeding. So abnormal uterine bleeding could be defined by multiple factors, including increased frequency or decreased frequency, also increased duration of menstrual bleeding, and lastly increased volume that is bleeded. So if you look at the left side of the image in this video, you will see that I have represented this with the restaurant of Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. So what do these different things represent? So starting at the most left, you see a guy sitting there and he says, I ate here. I ate here. 8 for the number 8. And what does this mean? So menstrual periods often should not exceed 8 days. So when the patient is bleeding for more than 8 days, that is one criteria for it for abnormal uterine bleeding. And moving to the right, you see that the restaurant says open for 24-hour days. So 24-hour days are frequent. So the restaurant is not 24/7. However, there are some days that they open 24 hours, and that's just how life is on the beach. You have to stay late sometimes. So basically, what does this mean? It means that menstrual periods usually should happen every 24 to 38 days. So less than that, it's very frequent, and more than that, like in terms of days, it's kind of infrequent. So if the patient is getting their periods like every 20 days, for example, that is one sign. So lastly, it says the asking price to enter the buffet of the restaurant says buffet more than $80 per person. So that is, ladies and gentlemen, to represent theft, because $80 per person is just straight theft. And the restaurant is called Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, so should not have been ruled out. So, and that is to represent, besides theft, the volume. So a lot of agencies define it more than 80 milliliter bleeded as abnormal uterine bleeding. But that is rarely measured, but however, it's still there. So secondly, I want to move to define the common causes of abnormal uterine bleeding. And here, luckily, Jumeirah Beach, the actual name for it is called Palm Jumeirah. Palm Jumeirah. So if you look at the sign in the middle, right in the middle, right here, it says Palm Jumeirah, spell the coins. Because ladies and gentlemen, after a vacation in Dubai, you are not gonna leave with any money left. You have spent all your money. So anyway, so what does it represent? So palm, kind of polyps, adenomyosis, leiomyoma, malignancy. So or hyperplasia. So starting with the first one, polyps, I have represented with the most and it's kind of indigenous kind of to that region, palm trees. So yes, palm trees, it's kind of the most straightforward when you hear the word palm, right? So that is for polyps. And a second cause is adenomyosis. So on top of that, you see a lion here and a sign that says pet lions. So only in Dubai. So basically, where can someone find pet lions except in the Middle East or like a bunch of other places, but mostly you're gonna see it in Dubai. So that is to represent, lions represents leiomyoma. Leiomyoma, lions. Leiomyoma basically is just a fancy term for fibroids. Yeah. So besides that, moving on to the next cause, the mnemonic for abnormal uterine bleeding, malignancy. Malignancy, if you look at the right lower corner, you will see a double-faced snake in front of the Turkish hairline barber shop, and I will talk in a bit why I chose that. So the snakes here is to represent malignancies. So malignancy can be a cause of abnormal uterine bleeding, and cancerous cells cancer cells take from your body. They use your nutrients from other cells, and they grow and grow, feeding off you, but without contributing anything to you, really. That is what cancer cells, and that's what snakes do. And it's asymptomatic most of the time. So asymptomatic, just like a snake, it hides and it doesn't appear until it's too late. That is how cancer works. So I chose to put it there, and I also chose to make the snake wear press bra, and the reason for that is to present gynecomastia, and that is just a sign that increased estrogen could be caused by a lot of things like obesity, tamoxifen, whatsoever, could be a contributing or a risk factor for endometrial hyperplasia or malignancy. So that is represented by gyno right here. Turkish hairlines. Why is the snake sitting in front of Turkish hairlines? Well, there are a lot of reasons that could be, but the ones I'm gonna focus on is Turkish hairlines. You see a guy with a beard. Well, I mean, I'm choosing it to represent ovulation causes, and one common cause is polycystic ovarian syndrome. Polycystic ovarian syndrome, it has a lot of factors and potential causes or associated symptoms. Mostly have to do with a lot of androgen levels. So like the kind of abnormal. So common features: hirsutism. So you see the guy's beard. Male pattern baldness for a female is also a sign of it. So and that is why I chose Turkish hairlines specifically. I mean, there could be other reasons, but for this one, I chose Turkish hairlines to say that when someone is starting to bald, the next thing that usually comes is a trip to Turkey, because a trip to Turkey can solve a lot of real problems then. So that is why I chose it, and so you can never forget that ovulation is a common cause for abnormal uterine bleeding, and it's not very far from the snake. Snakes are there, unfortunately, and both of them cause that kind of pathological bleeding. So another cause I chose, another cause that is that causes abnormal uterine bleeding is endometriosis. Endometriosis, if you look at the left bottom corner of this image, you will see Dubai chocolate sold here. So Dubai chocolate, why Dubai chocolate? Well, endometriosis, it is often it's growth of uterine tissue outside of the uterus. So usually in the ovaries, and it's called chocolate cysts because that's what it looks like. The masses look like chocolate cysts. So chocolate cysts are represented with Dubai chocolate. I personally think Dubai chocolate is overrated. Looks like plastic, but that could be said about a lot of other things in Dubai. Let's not go there. That's not going to be in shelf. So yeah, moving on to treatment options. Treatment options, if you look at the top of the image, going from left to right, that is based on the severity. So at the far left, we see a pharmacy, and that represents that one of the first line treatments is we give combined contraceptive pills. So that is one. That is what you would give them at the pharmacy. Moving to the right, so if you have heavier bleeding, usually move to progestin and IUDs. So if we zoom in right here, we see Justin Bieber fan club, pro-Justin. We are all supporting you, Justin Bieber. I'm not, but that's a crowd. Yeah, it's a big crowd. Anyway, so pro-Justin, say pro-Justin and progestin. Say that 3 times and you're never gonna forget it. And that is an option. And let me surprise you, I'm not supposed to give spoilers, but his next big song is called You and I. He just released it, but he never performed it live, and this is the first time it's gonna be live. You and I, even live. What does this represent? Live, Levon, gestural IUD. but you and I sounds better for a song. Anyway, so moving to the next thing, you can also give tranexamic acid, and if you look, it's represented by a taxi driver, a toxic taxi driver. Tranexamic acid, toxic, and he's just mad and toxic, so acid. And tranexamic kind of sounds like taxi, it has all the letters. So tranexamic acid is an option. It acts on the coagulation, the cascade, and it kind of increases clotting and helps counter bleeding. Lastly, you can also give NSAIDs. NSAIDs. Oh no, what's going on? Oh, this guy right here, this poor guy, he just proposed to the girl he always had a crush on. She's an influencer in Dubai, and he thought he just could go propose to her, and yeah, I don't know about that. But anyway, so he did. Unfortunately, she said no. Said starts with an N. And what else starts with an N? No. She said no, my guy. I'm really sorry. Well, yeah. You went for the bye, girl? No, got heartbroken as well. Moving on. So another and usually last resources is surgical interventions. And there is a sign that says, I love United Arab Emirates. I love UAE. UAE, I thought it stood for something else. It stood for uterine artery embolization. Uterine artery embolization, that is what UAE means in my life. I don't travel a lot, but yeah. So that is one way we can treat bleeding. Also, if we move forward, this guy right here, he just got food poisoning. Poor guy. But honestly, does a trip count if you don't get food poisoning? I don't think it does. So what does he say? Oh, he was eating fish and he said, a plate got my tummy hysteric. Oh no. So what does that mean? A plate, ablation, endometrial ablation is an option. Got my tummy, myomectomy, that is like when you want to remove fibroids, remove the muscle, remove the fibroids, that's myomectomy. Hysterectomy. Hysterectomy often tends to be definitive, and the patient should no longer intends for to be fertile, because hysterectomy, unfortunately, hysterectomy, there's no fertility after hysterectomies. And one minor thing, there's a balloon on the top. A balloon in the top with a sign. Usually I see decent scam videos, but honestly, who knows? So invest in Dubai. So add to your money. Oh, that was an extra for the causes, because I said pound, but you guys have not noticed that I didn't say anything for A. Adenomyosis. Adenomyosis, add to your money. Adenomyosis. Say it a few times, I remember it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is uterine artery bleeding. Abnormal uterine bleeding. I discussed the causes, the treatment options, and the characteristics of the condition itself. And usually when someone presents with this constellation of symptoms, you want to assist starting with a bimanual physical exam, then proceeding based on the results to an ultrasound, which is usual first line ultrasound. And after ultrasound, you can proceed with treatment options or further testing depending on your suspicion. Thank you very much.